Welcome to Honestly Speaking. I am your host, Honestly Trina, and today with me I have a phenomenal woman that through adversity and trauma, she's been able to excel and build a career in a sector that she probably didn't think she was going to get into. Today I have with me the amazing Dora, also known as Miss Gucci, Big Gucci, not the little Koan. Welcome to Honestly Speaking.
Thank you for having me, Trina.
You all right?
Yes.
Good. For our audience that don't know who you are, can you tell them a little bit about yourself? Why is your name Miss Gucci?
Well, I just got the nickname Miss Gucci from a man, like a DJ in a club that passed away. Because when I was young, I used to always wear Gucci. So he said, "Oh, we're gonna start calling you Gucci." Then from then, it just went to Miss Gucci. So, yeah.
Good. Thank you for coming on. I'm really excited to have you. I kept on telling you, should have had you from last year.
Yep.
But in God's time.
God's time, perfect time.
So I met you through RTM and I've seen your episode and I was like, wow, the growth from that episode to where we are now, like you've grown so much. And I just wanted to get you on, touch a bit about your previous lifestyle, but really focusing on what you're doing now with the substance abuse work. So that's where we're going to go into. So how old were you when you first came to the UK? Or was you born here?
No, I wasn't born here. I came to the UK when I was 7. When I got to the UK, my dad passed away 2 days before we arrived. So I only found out that my dad passed away when we actually arrived. The immigration, because when we arrived, my dad declared us, so we didn't come here legally, like we came here legally.
Yeah.
And the immigration, I just saw my mum crying. I said, "Oh, why are you crying?" And they was like, "Yeah, your dad's passed away."
No way.
So, yeah.
So your parents came before?
No, my dad came before with my brother who's passed away as well.
Oh, wow.
So they both passed away here.
Wow.
Yeah, so I came with my mum. And yeah, so I was a bit young. I was like 7. I don't think it really had a major impact on me then. I feel like when I was growing up, when I reached like 21, one day it just like hit me like my dad wasn't around, like my dad passed away. It was crazy, but yeah.
And you came from Congo?
Yeah.
What was the difference between Congo and the UK?
Do you know what it is? I weren't really raised in Congo much. I spent a lot of time in Nigeria because my mum was an entrepreneur. So my mum was a business lady. So she was always, I was in Nigeria, I was in Germany. I went kindergarten in Germany.
No way.
Yeah.
So do you speak any German?
No, all I know is Guten Tag, but yeah, who doesn't know that? But yeah.
Oh, wow. That's quite traumatic though. So leaving like your home and coming over here probably excited to see your dad.
I was very excited to see my dad because my dad always, even though he was away, he was very much present. He always made sure that I was well looked after. He always sent me stuff. Like I know that my dad loved me, even though he was very much sick. He didn't let us know that he was sick. He made sure that we arrived safely in the UK. I feel like, if I go back, I remember like my mum telling me, "Oh, we're gonna go to the UK, etc. We're gonna see your dad, whatever, etc." And then for me, I felt like him knowing we was gonna come here in a safe place with a better opportunity for our life, my life. I felt like maybe he just kind of gave up on life, and then he passed away.
Maybe he felt like he achieved what he wanted to achieve.
I've got so much respect for my dad, like so much respect for him because even though he was so sick, he made sure that he put me and my mum in a position where we weren't really going to struggle like that.
What did he die of, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I don't have a clue. It was something that I was just young. It was something that was never ever discussed it's never something that's been discussed to me until now.
How was it growing up in Germany a little bit, kindergarten? Do you remember?
Do you know what? I remember Germany being racist.
Really?
Yeah, like I remember Germany being racist, but I don't remember being a victim of racism. It's really crazy.
Okay, so you saw it but didn't experience it personally.
Yes.
Do you want me to clip you in? Hold on.
Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I don't remember experiencing racism personally, but I just remember everybody used to say, oh, Germany's racist, Germans are racist. But I don't ever remember experiencing racism in Germany.
Yeah.
I feel like I was maybe too young to identify racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've landed at the airport, you found out your dad passed away, and then you've had to fit into society. How did that feel?
Do you know what? Yeah. It was crazy because I came here, I didn't speak no English.
No way.
No.
What's your first language?
Lingala.
Lingala.
So I spoke Lingala and Dutch.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're multilingual.
Yeah, so I was speaking that, obviously I don't remember it now. And then like, yeah, I just had to fit in. I had to like adapt. I remember when we came, we had to go and live in our dad's house.
Okay.
Me, my brother, because my brother was going to get taken into care. But luckily my mum came in time because nobody wanted to look after him. Like my dad had brothers, but they didn't want to step up. They didn't want to look, basically my brother was going to go into care, but by God's grace, my mum came, we ended up living in the house with me, my brother, and my mum in the same building, the same house that my dad passed away living. And it was hard. And I had to watch my mum make something out of herself. And I feel like that's where I get my drive from, my mum. Because I've seen her come to this country, she's lost her husband, she's picked herself up, she's done like so much for herself. I'm just like, wow, do you understand? So I feel like I've definitely got certain things when it comes to my mum.
You got loads of traits from her, yeah. Wow, that's quite traumatic actually. So your brother was going through some things and social services wanted to get involved.
No, my brother, remember, my dad's passed away, so we're not in the country when my dad's passed away.
So there was no one here to look, I get it.
There was people there to look after him.
But they opted not to.
But like families are just crazy. Families are very, very crazy. And he was going to go into care, and like luckily we came here and he wasn't in care, so we managed to live with each other, and I found myself having a new relationship with my sibling. Although we spent time together when we was born back in Congo, but we separated due to like circumstances.
Right.
So I found myself like bonding with my brother again, and you know, it was different. I remember, this is so funny, yeah. I remember the first time when I was in Nigeria, I saw like a white person. It's so weird, like I always think about it, yeah. I was walking and I just see somebody, they were just so light and so white. And I was like to my mum, like,
what is that?
Like, why do they look like that? Do you understand? I didn't know there was obviously white people in it.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. That's something I do remember from my childhood. That was so funny.
It's interesting because like back home you would have been a majority, and then you've come to the UK where you're now a minority.
Yeah.
And you're like looking for people that looks like you instead of like everyone looks like you.
And you know what's so crazy? When I was growing up, I did not know there was Africans, there was Jamaicans. I just thought black people were black. I didn't know.
And I feel like it should be that way. To be fair, I feel like the division that is created by, oh, I'm Jamaican, I'm Guyanese, I'm Congolese, I'm Ghanaian or whatever.
We have it even with Congolese. We have tribalism. Oh, I'm not gonna marry this tribe because they're this, they're that. We have it. It's it's crazy. And then you have that tribe. Then they've got like another tribe in that tribe, and then when it comes to separation, it's crazy. It's something that's always been happening. Like amongst race, even amongst your own culture, like it's crazy. So so that was a bit funny. And then obviously I've come here, I've started adapting, I started going to school.
How was that?
Do you know what? I was so naughty.
You're naughty, Gucci?
Yeah, I was naughty. I was silly.
Serious?
Like, especially where I didn't understand the language, it was very hard for me to adapt.
Yeah.
So I found myself always getting in trouble, always like, I was more focused on wanting to create friends.
Okay, you're a socialite.
Yeah. I remember back in the days, we had like, what was it called again? Show and tell?
Yes,
was it
show and tell.
Yeah, and I used to, and those times Spice Girls were the ones, innit?
So you wasn't a Spice Girl fan, Gucci. Who was you trying to be, Gucci?
Was it Scary Spice?
Scary Spice?
Yeah, like, I loved all of them. Like literally, like I love Spice Girls. They literally made my life. Like I loved Spice Girls. Yeah, so I adapted to that, and then
you did show and tell. What did you do for show and tell?
I remember We did. I said, ooh, who do you think you are?
Do you think you are?
Oh my God. And we used to and you know, back in the days, yeah, we used to wear them, them chunky heels
Yeah.
they used to wear.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh,
God.
the platforms.
What? Who didn't have a platform? God, back in the days.
You're
It was
making me
too
feel
funny.
old, Gucci.
Yeah.
You're making me
like,
feel old.
yeah.
So you've gone through school. How was your secondary school experience?
My secondary school experience, I feel like it was either make or break, and it was a bit of break for me because I just became bad.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How did your mum take that?
I used to lie to her when she used to come to when she used to come to parents' evening, because she couldn't speak English. I'll be like, I'll be the translator. And then
Oh,
I'll
so
just
you're
lie.
just lying on the translation.
I'll just lie.
See how important it is to have translators?
Yeah, teachers.
You mentioned it on an episode of RTM. You did. You talked
it's really,
about
really
that.
important when it comes to language barrier. You got to make sure that when you are dealing with parents, that English not the first language, that they really do get some type of support when it comes to translating. So yeah, I used to just lie to her. Like I was just, I don't know, I was just a little hustler in school. I would be like, the boys would playing up the wall. I would take all their money. Like
Bad gal
I was
Gucci.
bad.
Oh my God.
I was bad. I would go and steal gel pens. I would sell them. I've been hustling from school. Like I was just bad. All I cared about was making money, to be honest with you. Yeah.
The gel pens were like, they were a
They were
thing
£2 something. I used to sell them for £1 something. Well,
The profit, it's all profit.
Yeah, I used to go with the boys.
Oh my goodness. So how did you get on in terms of like, because I know you got a degree and you got a master's now, don't you?
I left school in year 9
How?
because I got kicked out.
You got kicked out?
I got
Why?
kicked out.
What did you do?
What did I do? I was just bad. Like, I was so unruly. I was just bad. Like, when I look at my son and then I think to myself, I was this age when I was bad. I'm just thinking to myself, what the hell? Like, what was I thinking? Like, I was just, What did I get kicked out of school? I think I moved school. I ended up going to Dorm as well in West London.
Right.
I left Eastbury in Barking to go to Dorm as well. And then I think I just got kicked out of there. And then I just started being on the streets with the boys.
Seriously?
And making money, yeah.
Right. So how was you making money, Gooch, if you don't mind sharing? We don't have to go into it too much.
Yeah, do you know what? I used to just do things with the guys. Like, I would go on robberies with the guys. Although I was on making money, I was never a violent person. Like, I was very much anti-violent.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got trauma when it comes to violence. So I was never involved in violence, but if there was opportunities for like robberies and stuff, yeah, I'll do it,
To make some money, yeah.
Make some money, like get some clothes. I was always about my clothes. That's one thing you'd see me. My friends will come out of school. I've got Selfridges bag, Probito bags, like long time, old school. And yeah, like,
yeah,
I was bad.
It's weird because I used to have all of those things. Like, I remember going to doing PE and having like Christian Lacroix leggings on for PE. Who has Christian Lacroix leggings on for PE? But yeah, that was
that was crazy.
That was some of my life. So so you got into those bits and pieces, and we know from like, you know, some of your other interviews, you did a bit of time, small amount.
Yeah, do you know what? I went to secure unit.
Secure unit?
Yeah, I started going to secure. I went to secure unit from a very young age.
Really?
Yeah, I think I was like 14, 15. I was like a prolific offender. Like they were telling me to come back. I wouldn't come back. So it got to a point where they stopped giving me bail. So once you already get into the system, you're basically messed. That's all they're gonna start giving you. It's a cycle. They're not even gonna give you an option of probate. What was it? Youth offending teams. Them times it's so crazy because my old youth offending team, who was advisor, whatever.
Yeah.
I still see him, and he's so. When I told him I've got degrees and stuff, he's like, "Oh, Roddy, like yeah." So I started going to secure unit. So I was already mingling with like crazy kids and stuff like that.
Do you feel like with your lived experience now, do you feel like those institutions got you more involved than helping you to not reoffend and get out of the system? Do you feel like it was kind of like a bed
Do you know what? When we talk
breeding ground.
Do you know what? When we talk about that, I feel like we have to look at the foundation. I feel like we have to start from the police. You see, sometimes I was getting in trouble for things that I didn't do.
Right.
But the police will just blame it on me. They didn't care. They will just blame it on me and etc. And because of my previous, I just like it wasn't helping me. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, it didn't really. To be quite honest with you, it didn't really help me. Like it didn't help me. I don't feel like locking a young person away from their family and community and putting them away with other kids. Like I met other young people that had like substance misuse. I wasn't exposed to that. I think people smoked weed, and I don't think my circle was smoking cannabis those times.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But then I met young females that were dealing with trauma, like they were sexually abused. Like it was crazy. Like some of the stories I was hearing, and I was never exposed to that until I went into a secure unit.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, what can I say? I don't feel like those times that were helping people. It was more for like punishment. I don't feel like they had so much a clue what they were doing.
And I think that's like, I feel like I look at you and I see like how you've grown, and I feel like you're like an ideal candidate for a role model because you've been through a certain situation and you've actually come out on the other end. Like you can actually show people that you can change.
Do you know what it is? You see with that tree now, you've got to be a realist to say that. Do you understand? A lot of people will be like, oh, please, what is there to idolize about her? What influence is she influencing? At the end of the day, you can take from me whatever you want to take. For me personally, this is my journey. This was part of my journey. This wasn't the end.
It's not the end.
This wasn't the end. This was just a bus stop that I stopped at. Do you understand?
Like that.
It was just a bus stop, but we're still continuing.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And for me, I'm not ashamed to speak on my past because I know my past is not me.
It's not you.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I know my past doesn't have a stronghold. And there's people with my past that feel like they can't move on.
Some people are still at that bus stop.
I know. And whoever is at that bus stop, like, there's opportunities out there. There are organizations, there's companies who are willing to hire you because of who you are, because what you bring to the table. Don't be hard on yourself because of your experience. And we live in a society where we're judged all the time. You see me? I've gone past that stage of being judged, especially coming on a podcast. Coming on a podcast it's not easy.
It's not easy.
I remember the first time I came here on Spray. Spray gave me the opportunity. This is why I always love Spray. Spray gave me the opportunity to come on his platform, and he didn't have to do that. He doesn't know me from nowhere. Do you understand? I will always be grateful for Spray. And the way I articulate myself, it might have not been right to certain people that know understood where I was coming from. Maybe I didn't articulate myself properly. And my thing is, I'm not going to change the way I speak to please people because there's 1,000 people that speak like me.
Yeah. More than 1,000.
More than 1,000 people. I can come on this show and start speaking a certain way, but that's not me.
You have to be your authentic self.
In this life, you've got to be you. They're either going to love you, they're either going to hate you, but at the end of the day, there's going to be one person that likes you. And in this life, it's all about quality. It's not about quantity. It's not about being liked by everyone. It's being loved by a real, genuine people. And I feel like people that get to know me get to see my potential and get to see where I've come from and where I'm going. And it's up to you if you want to look at my story and be like, oh, I've got friends that I met in prison. Shout out to my good sis Bex. When she came out, she saw that I graduated. She said, no way, D, you've got a degree. I'm going to get my degree. She graduated in law last year.
What?
Yes.
Shout out to Bex.
Shout out to Bex.
Yeah,
she graduated in law. And you know what it is? When you lived a certain lifestyle, for me, I felt like I could start achieve things the right way. When I passed my license, I was like, wow, like I'm actually capable of doing normal things because especially when it comes to professional bodies, and I feel like we need to put a more fight into this. Stop telling young people that they're not going to amount to nothing. You know, everybody wants to rap, oh, when I was in school, my teacher told me I wasn't going to amount to nothing. That literally has a major impact on some people.
Yes, it does.
Major impact. And there's people that, I remember when I first started applying for work, I was so scared of being rejected because of my previous convictions. I was so scared. And I remember, like, big up Nisha, my cousin, she was like, Dora, are you crazy? Like, apply for these jobs. There are people who's done worse than you. And I remember giving my manager my DBS. And she was like, I've seen worse. These are just petty little stuff. You know, you was going for a thing. And it's not about that then. It's about who you are.
No.
So I'm really, really happy with what the government are doing now. They're filtering certain convictions, giving people more confidence, and enabling them to apply for work.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will sit there and think, oh, I can't work because I've got this conviction. I can't work. And shout out to people who encourage their friends.
Yes.
I remember I had certain people around me and I'm telling them, like, I'm looking for jobs, and they had opportunities to help me find a job. They didn't want to help me.
Do you know
They didn't want to help me.
I've seen it. So, like, I used to hire people. Yeah. So when I was hiring people, I know that my seniors didn't want me to hire certain people, and I would have to put it on my head. Shout out. I came and he was in something like a serious thing 2 weeks before the interview with me, and I rate him so much because he told me, but I think he saw it in me that he could tell me. So he told me, and I hired him, but I said, please just don't bring that to the office because I've got 60 odd other staff here. So if you bring anything here,
It's on me.
It's on me. And he never brought nothing there, and it could have easily come there, but he always, sorry, my son. Sorry. But yeah, he is now like a senior HR business partner. Shout out. I love your transition.
See?
But it does take someone to give you that.
You need somebody to give you that chance. And sometimes we're scared for no reason. But guess what? I can walk in any room and I don't fear rejection. One of my friends asked me the other day, she's like, oh, like, are you not scared? I said, I don't associate myself with fear. I rebuke that in prayers.
You see, if you're God-fearing, fear's not yours.
I always said to God, like, remove fear from me. Remove fear. Really and truly, I wanted to do something like go on podcasts, etc. But I was always scared of what people are going to say. What are people going to think? At the end of the day, I still get negative reviews. Don't get it twisted. People are always coming at me, etc. And sometimes I will reply back, but
I'm like, don't do it, don't do it.
You know, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to come on a podcast. I'm still going to talk about things that, oh, you're female, you shouldn't be talking about these things, you understand? The only reason why I've never come on a podcast and gone in depth with my previous life, because I don't want it to look like I'm glorifying that lifestyle. I don't want young women to look at me and idolize me because I'm an ex-prolific offender. No, I don't want anybody to look at me like that. I want somebody to look at my journey. It could be with anything. It could be because of your race that you don't want to apply for a particular job because you've heard in this sector it's harder, for example, a black or Asian or certain minority. So this is all about giving people courage and giving people confidence to overcome their fear and to overcome whatever they've gone through in life.
Yeah, and that's why I think role models are so important. So, or mentors. So I'm a mentor for a lot of girls that from my area, because I want them to see that actually you can go to certain rooms, you can be the speaker in the room. Most of the time when I'm in the room, I'm the only one that looks like me. Literally, if you put on Teams on, I'm the only face that you will see that looks like me. But by doing that mentoring and that role modeling and you telling your story, you're helping that girl that's like you, that might be on the path of being a prolific offender. She might be a prolific offender and feeling like she can't get a job. Like, there's a lot of people that are older than us that still haven't been able to get a job because of their records and their fear of.
And I advise anybody, I don't care what you're doing, and this is what I'm saying, it's very, very important to have work ethics. Like, it's extremely important. Really, 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 really important. I know age is nothing but a number, but you don't want to get to 50 or certain age and you don't have no form of work ethics in you, it doesn't matter what you do. And the way I feel like a lot of people who come from the road, they're very likable people.
Look,
very intelligent
do you
people.
know how much transferable skills people on the roads got? Like, you speak to people, you can network. If you're hustling, you know how to make money. Like, you're literally doing a business, but just not
It's
legally.
Not it's not legally. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Not legally. If you can just look at that and transfer those skills over to a 9-to-5 or any kind of legit business, you're gonna win. Because if you can do it for yourself,
it's gonna be hard.
Don't get me wrong.
It's gonna be hard for you to adapt because sometimes the working lifestyle is very, very mixy as well. Very, very mixy. Your colleagues are not your friends.
Do you know what I said to my mate the other day? I said,
your colleagues are not your friend.
Someone's in the business world, they've ripped him off, yeah? And he's like, boy, if I was on, I was like, nah, I said the business world is more callous than the streets.
I was just like,
the streets you can get back. In the office, you can't get back in the office.
I was just like,
yeah, it's callous.
It's like how it really runs. But guess what? I've got experience from that. So now I can sit down with young people and talk to them on how to conduct yourself in a working environment, how to keep your workspace safe, you know, because boy, it can actually go left. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because they're going to try you, but they try you in this, oh my God, like they patronize it. Oh my God.
I remember in like 2006, it was like my first formal corporate job. So like 26. And this woman kept on, try me. And my tolerance level was pretty good, but she kept on trying me. And like instinctively, I was like, let's go outside, because where I'm from, that's kind of how we deal with things. And I'm like, someone had to pull me. And Abby, shout out Abby, she was like my senior regional manager, black lady. It's good to have senior women like us.
Yeah, they do encourage you.
She pulled me aside and said, don't you ever
behave like that.
Do that again.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to her because I wanted to fight outside.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how we...
Listen.
I used to deal with things.
You're like, oh my God. I'm just like, wow, these people are so mixy.
It's hard.
It's hard, but guess what? And I always tell people this. At the end of the day, that's what's gonna pay for your house. That's what's gonna feed your kids. That's what's gonna make you look like a good role model to your kids. Do you understand? At the end of the day, the way I look at it, I've got 2 sons, right?
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, sorry. I've got 2 sons. And at the end of the day, I'm always on at my son, like, just do this in school, just do this in school. Because when you walk into my house, there's a big picture of me graduating my bachelor's, graduating in my master's. And my son, my first son, he's witnessed that. Do you understand? He's witnessed me going to work and etc. So I've got valid, strong points when I'm talking to him. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like if you've come from the road and you're scared, like, and sometimes you need to get away. It's okay to like, honestly, it's okay to start again. It's okay to start with 0. Honestly, so many of us are so scared to start again. And whoever's watching this, whoever's scared to start again, sometimes leave them friends. And you know what it is? Sometimes leaving those friends, it's the best thing that could happen to you, because sometimes you think you want your friends want you to win. Your friends don't want you to win like that. Your friends want you to win on road, but your friends don't want you to go to college or go and get that diploma or go and get that job. Oh, you're working, you're making so-and-so an hour, you can make that on road. That's not a problem. We could all make money on road, but it takes a lot for you to wake up every day and go to work. Trust me.
How did you go from, in your words, being a prolific offender? What was a changing point for you?
Do you know what, for me, when you said about mentor, I will never forget, I was in security unit in I think it was Exeter. There's a lady called Jackie.
Right.
And that was the first time somebody asked me what was happening in my life. Why was I offending? This woman believed in me so much. She said, look, you're smart, you're clever. Like, you do well in education, like, better than a lot of people. I was very good at maths. Go out, go and do a course and stuff. So when I came out, I always remembered her words. Like, she believed in me. I went out, I did access to learning, access to higher education, health and social care. And that's how I got into uni. Yeah, that's what I did. So it was her, it was just her believing in me, showing me that, like, you know, I'm able to do it. And all I remember school, my teachers telling me, oh, you weren't going to do nothing. That's why, if you're a teacher, stop telling young kids they're not going to amount to nothing, because sometimes it plays a big role, and you've got certain artists saying, oh, my teacher didn't tell me I was going to make it and stuff like that. You guys think they're just saying it. It's actually, those words actually traumatize them. That's why they mention it like that, because they're telling me I'm not going to amount to nothing.
I feel like sometimes even parents as well,
yes.
Any sort of adult that has responsibility for children, or even if you're bypassing, if you're just someone passing, it's so important that you speak life into young people, because that criticism, as small as you think it is,
it has a major impact on them.
It has a major impact.
Does.
And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about role models and such, but we are all role models.
Yes, we are.
Especially when we're speaking about children, we are
100%.
all role models.
They're watching. And you never know who you're going to affect. That woman, I don't even know if she's alive anymore, but her words are the words that have always carried me through.
I think I've been so lucky that I've had some really strong women that I can look at and think, oh my God, I like what you're doing, and they've embraced me. There's one or two that haven't embraced me, but you know who you are. But the ones that embraced me, their power was so strong that they propelled me to not live a certain life. So I could have easily, like, in the way I was brought up, I could have easily had a different type of life. But those role models, from my grandma to Denise Leander, shout you out, Abby Balamossi, these women, they spoke life into me, and they showed me that I could actually do more. And not to make it about me, but that's why I mentor, and that's why I'm so strong about speaking life into young people.
100%.
So we talked about your access to higher education and social care, and that got you into uni.
Yeah, that got me into uni, but I didn't take uni serious.
Okay, what did you study?
I did sociology and psychology, and I was like, oh. Then I ended up getting, that first year I flopped. Then I ended up getting pregnant.
Okay.
And then I've ended up having my son.
Okay.
Then I'm just like, whatever. And then my mum started speaking live to me. My mum's like, Dora, all these people are graduating. You're probably more intelligent than them. You've got the capability of doing it. You need to go and do it. And then I started doing it. Like, when I'm in obstacles after obstacles, I started doing a course year 1, fine. Year 2, I end up catching a case for something that I didn't do, and my previous end up messing me up.
In year 2?
Year 2 of starting again. So I'm like on the 4th year of starting again. I've ended up going to jail now. Yeah, I've ended up going to jail because I'm some silly girl. I ended up going to jail for something that I did not to do. Because she got caught up in it, and I stayed with her. They've ended up telling me that I'm exploiting her because she hasn't got previous, I've got previous, etc.
Oh.
I've ended up leaving my baby, who was 7.5 months. And luckily, my mum was there. Thanks to my brother, R.I.P. Kangi, he gave up his job and they started looking after my son with my mum for 7.5 months. I've now come out of jail.
Hold on, let's slow.
Yes.
Let's slow. So, you're sentenced to 7.5 months, and you're
sentenced 2 years. The sentence is 2 years for offence that I actually didn't do. I actually didn't do it, but because it related to my previous, and the person that got stopped, hasn't got previous for them. You're exploiting them. You're the kingpin. You're doing all sorts of things. Yes, and until now, like I didn't do nothing. Like the person knew what they were doing. Like I might have known what they were doing, but I wasn't involved. You understand?
And you've got a 7.5-month-year-old baby.
So I've ended up having my baby. The judges sentenced me. The judge didn't like me. This woman in Croydon Court, she didn't like me. She ended up sentencing me to 2 years. I've now served 7.5 months. And during that time, obviously, it was very difficult. I left my baby, etc. But then when I got into my sentence, like when I adjusted, I said, what am I gonna do? And I wrote my plans. I prayed. I was more with the aunties. I was always in every prayer meeting.
Circle.
I was there. Do you understand? Like I was just there praying, etc. My time's come out. I've come out now. I said, look, I'm gonna go back to uni. I've gone back to uni. I'm thinking, right, who's going to fund me? So I had a very, very good academic leader. We wrote a letter to student finance, etc. I've managed to get funding, etc. Year 2 done, year 3 done. We're getting there.
I'm sorry, I'm still caught up that you had to leave your baby. How did that make you feel, Dora?
So you know what? Yeah, I can talk about it now, but it literally, I feel like it's shaped me. I feel like that's changed my life forever. In a sense where when I first went in, I used to hear my baby cry all the time, and yeah, that really messed me up. Like I had mad heart palpitations. Like even when they would come on the visits to come and see me, I just wanted to make sure that, oh sugar, sorry, I don't know why I keep touching this.
No worries, my love.
I just wanted to make sure that they got home safe. I was thinking they're gonna have an accident. Like I was literally so scared, like from the time they left the visit to get home. Do you understand? But I overcome it. It was a very, very difficult time for me. And then again, because of my previous conviction, I'm now sitting in jail doing time for something that I actually didn't do. You know,
if you did it, you would have just said,
yeah, I'm known for pleading guilty. Like, I'll plead guilty, do you understand? I went to trial, like, and then because I went to trial, the woman wanted to use me as an example, etc. Whatever, it's happened now. Obviously, I've now met people in there. I've met great women, and I just had a plan, and things have worked out good for me since I've come out.
Amen.
Things have worked out good for me.
Amen.
Just kept going. For me personally, experiencing that, there was nothing else that could break me after that.
When you came home, how was it to bond with your son again? Was it difficult?
It was very, very difficult. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It was difficult because my baby was not attached to my parents. Do you understand? I was a young mum. I didn't really know how to be a mum. Like, it's weird. Like, I would say that I compensated my son with like buying him stuff, like just getting him stuff. I have to admit it, I didn't know how to be a mum like that. I was very much traumatized. My friends would be like to me, stop spoiling your son just because you went to prison, whatever. Yeah. It's just circumstances, D. I remember my friend Jess, she'll get onto me, like, you've got to be hard on him and stuff like that, etc. But I always felt bad.
You felt a bit of guilt?
Yeah, I felt a bit of guilt. And then my son just wanted to stay with my mum. And then my son moved in with me properly when he was like 7.
Oh, wow.
So he was so much with my parents.
Yeah.
So he moved in with me when he was 7. And then I started being a parent. Then like, obviously I studied psychology. So I started understanding certain behavior patterns and certain things, etc. Obviously, I'm a very good mum now. Like, I'm not saying I wasn't a good mum then. I just made the wrong.
You had to.
Yeah, I've just learned. Like being a mum doesn't come with any type of books. But like, yeah, I've got my friends, amazing mums. Anytime I've got issues, I always go to them for advice. And yeah, I went through that, and now that I'm a second mum now, it's just different.
Because you actually got to...
Yeah, it's just different. It's just so different. I feel like you learn from your first child, and then your second child, you're just like, if you're maternal, if you want to be, you're just like, I'm so attached to my baby, like literally so obsessed with him. Thank you.
He's cute.
So,
I can see it in your face. You just got all kind of...
Yeah, like so obsessed. I'm obsessed with my kids. I love my sons. I live for my kids. I don't think my kids understand one day when they get old and stuff, I live for them. They're my life. Like, if I fail in life, it will never be failing my kids. Never, ever. Don't start crying,
You know how
Sheena.
emotional. They're going to have me on Black Kings again.
Don't start crying.
But yeah, I see. I'm on your Snap, and I see like you dote on those boys. I love the pictures at Christmas time.
Oh,
They were Christmas
so cute,
cardish,
innit?
yeah, proper cute. I
Everyone was
do
like,
that.
you doing an advert? You doing an advert? I said, no.
I have all those pictures. I just don't post mine. But every year I've got every pajama set. Like,
love it.
I'm so corny. My kids are sick and tired of me. They're tired of me.
I love it. Love it. Memories, so important.
So important. Like, literally, they'll be gone out of the house soon. Not too soon.
God, I don't want them
I
to
can't
go.
even imagine it. Like, it gets me emotional.
Oh no, I don't want them to go ever.
Yeah, don't leave. So I was like, Mommy, I'm going to stay. I said, remember, I'm going to tell you this, yeah? When you're 40 and you've gone off with your wife and your kids and I'm battering around in the house, I'm going to tell you, you told me you're going to live with me forever.
Yeah, like, no, I don't want my kids.
No.
Yeah.
So
I always want to be, I always want to be a mother to my children forever. Just like how my mum is a mother to me. I'm 36 and literally I can't live without my mum.
You look good though.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank
I was
you.
going to ask you, have you ever spoken to your mum about how it impacted her when you were going through your challenges?
Do you know what I did? And I spoke to my husband about it. Like the things.
Hold on, what did you just say?
And her husband.
Oh, her husband.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you married Gucci, I never knew her.
And her husband. And do you know what? When I was young, I blamed my parents for a lot of things. Now that I'm older, I'm able to understand culture differences. I'm able to understand how they deal with things back home and how they deal with things here. And I feel like I was able to forgive them. I feel like they've stepped up. They're the great parents, great grandkids. Anyone that knows me knows how much my parents ride for me, heavily involved with my kids. They like my little village. That's why I said I don't know how it is to struggle being a single mum, because if it's not my parents, it's my cousins. I've got like my older cousin Cedric. I've got my other cousins, and I've got my friends. Like literally, like I don't know how it is to struggle with children, because I've literally got a strong village, and I literally appreciate that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I want to be like your kids and my kids, because they be flying first class, business class. My daughter's now telling me she's not going back to economy. Can you imagine this girl? She's experienced business class. Now she's telling me,
you don't want to go back.
I can't do.
Yeah, you don't want to go back. You don't.
Economy. I'm like, if we're going Spain or somewhere, you're definitely going economy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. So you say you're a single mum, but you're not, because you've got your village around you.
And I've got good, the father of my kids are amazing parents, even though one of them gets on my nerves, but yeah. But other than that, the father of my kids, obviously, with Styles, I was engaged and it didn't work out, unfortunately. But his dad is an amazing man. He's an amazing dad. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better father.
Yeah.
For my son, he's a great role model. He's a great human being.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, he would never ever watch me struggle ever.
Yeah.
Same goes to Shaquille's dad.
Yeah.
I'm very close with Shaquille's aunties. They're literally like the greatest thing. They're my sisters, but we're just not blood
That's beautiful.
related. I love them. Anytime I need those women to support me when it comes to their nephew, they're there.
How do you navigate co-parenting?
The father of my kids, they know me. They know that I'm very crazy, very emotional. And when I start sending 100 voice notes, D, calm down. They won't even listen to it. I will insult them, etc. when I'm so angry, but I don't really mean it. I'm a nice person.
They understand you.
Yeah, they understand me. Yeah.
I do think you're a nice person. It's funny, I met you on that It Weren't Gonna End Well episode on RTM.
Oh God.
And actually there was something about you that I met. One, you're proper menelated, deeply menelated woman. I'm looking at your complexion and I'm thinking, wow, your skin looks so flawless. And then 2, you had this aura about you that was warming.
Oh, thank
Like,
you.
I know people might think Gucci's hard. Now Gucci's cool, man.
I'm actually really like a soft girl.
Yeah.
Like I'm such a soft girl.
Yeah.
And people have this persona of me because they don't personally know me. I'm a weak babe, like.
Honestly, on that day, we were sitting next to each other and I'm like, nah, I like this girl. Like when I said it, like I thought, no, I like you because there was an aura and you were giving me a similar energy. Like I said, oh, your skin looks so nice. You're like, oh, I like your skin. And it was talking
beautiful
about
skin.
lipstick and stuff like that. And I just thought it was such a nice energy from you. And from that day, like we've been back and forth and stuff.
Yeah.
I like Gucci, like I like Gucci.
Thank
I
you.
like
I like Trina too. Right there, sir.
Right there, so we'll leave it there, so. But yeah, there's something really warming about you, and even just watching the episodes as we go on, like there's some growth in there. But aside from that, personally, I liked how you carried yourself that day as well. You were very you had this nice poise about you in the midst of the chaos, even though you didn't know what was going on.
I was so, until this day, I'm still I was still confused. I was asking, is this real? Is this part of the show?
That's what you said.
I was just like, I was so confused because, like I said, you're a very, very calm lady. Cream is a very, very calm lady. I've never seen that side to Cream. And I was just like, are you guys, I don't know.
You were like, is this real?
Is this real?
Is this real?
I was just
I'm like, yes, this is real.
I literally just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a shame that happened.
But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that day. We don't have to go into it too much.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your confidentiality for everyone.
Yeah.
Because I know you've been confidential.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for that. And just thank you for your grace as well, and constantly like reaching out and checking and vice versa. But
do you know what? If I meet, do you know what for me, I used to be very scared to meet new people.
no new friends.
Yeah, no new friends. Like,
New friends.
very anti. Then I said to myself, look, you're not going to get nowhere in life if you're not willing to allow new people, give them a chance. The worst can happen is that it might not work out.
And just cut off.
That's it, you just cut them off. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And I just felt like coming on Spray's podcast, it took a lot of things out of me. Like it really played a major part of me not going through having anxiety and fear anymore, because I've come, and like the first time I practically was on the show, I went viral because I said I like Roadman, but it wasn't, I didn't mean to articulate it like that. I was meant to say I like assertive men, you know, etc. Certain men with certain backgrounds, etc. But we're not going to go into that. Yeah, this is nothing there. But yeah, so for me, like I've loved meeting you. I've loved meeting Kareem. I've loved meeting Kelly and Ange, going on their show. All these new
Kelly
people.
and Ange.
My girls. Yeah, like.
Catch my episode.
Yeah, like I've just enjoyed meeting you new women. I feel like you guys have embraced me. You're always speaking life into my life. You're always complimenting me, always encouraging me, giving me confidence and giving me strength. And I really, and I think that's beautiful.
We have to though, because we're such a minority. And I think generally the consensus is that we can't kind of thrive in the same space, but we can.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, if anything that I can do, I want my platform to be a space where I embrace men and women, because it's not just about women, but I want to really embrace my women.
Definitely.
And show solidarity and unity. It's very important. The young girls need to see it.
100%.
They need to see that we can thrive and we can build
and especially in the UK, I just don't, do you know what, in the UK, I just don't understand what goes on, because, for example, the other day, I went on Instagram and I went across, I went to Shade Borough and I see Crepes, and Conan, something about they opened up a store, etc. I loved it.
I love those boys.
I made a comment.
Yeah.
I made a comment that reached like 10,000 likes. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Let me even read the comment that it's still going on off now. And then
What? How did I miss this? You know, I'm normally underneath and liking your comments.
Wait, hold on. What did I say? Okay, it's not actually 9,797 likes.
It's 10K.
Yeah. I said these two are literally one of the smartest people in the industry. They won't ever be broke, neither will their children. Congratulations to them. And somebody's atted me saying, do you think they've made enough money from the music industry? Probably some rich man, white man in his mansion, sitting in his mansion, paying them to just promote. I said, let somebody pay me thousands to just promote the shop, to promote a shop.
It's interesting. So
what the hell?
One, I love Krept. I love the whole Nala's baby. I love the legacy that he's building for his daughter,
hell?
him and Sasha. I was like, when it first came out, I was searching for it. Just because even if the product wasn't good, which it is a good product, I wanted to support them. And I don't know why our community sometimes just want to tear people down.
I could not believe some people are doing great things and you guys have still got something negative to say.
It's crazy to me.
I was so confused. I was like, nah, the UK, it's bad vibes.
There's something about Krept and Conan that I feel people just don't like, and I don't know why.
That's what I said.
Maybe it's a jealousy, I don't know what it is, but I don't. I love those guys. So I went to Crepes and Cones. I'm ticked off it's still not there. Like the fried chicken and the waffles and that stuff, lovely stuff. Had that with my kids. I brought my kids there, and I'll never speak bad on them. Even if the experience wasn't amazing, which it was amazing, I would never do that because I go to TGI Fridays, yeah, and they will take 2 hours to serve me, but I'm not making no complaints. So I will always give our people
somebody said,
grace.
oh, they're selling cancer. Why don't you start selling product that hasn't got cancer in it? I'm thinking to myself, you go to Asda, you go to Tesco's.
The same thing is there.
I just thought to myself, you see that when people started at me after that comment, I said, you know what, you see in this life, you've got to do what's best for you. But people are still going to talk regardless.
But you know what I said to you, Gucci? You know my whole thing is just don't respond. Don't respond.
Oh, but you know me, I can't help but respond sometimes.
Shout out Krept and Conan. I want to say the shop's name. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the song. I loved everything about those
I love
boys.
everything. I love everything you guys are doing. You guys are showing people that you're around the right people. You guys are showing people that you're not just music, your business. You understand what I'm trying to say? Business-minded people. And people need to learn from that. People need to appreciate their showing that because you're encouraging other young people, other young artists, other young famous people. Do you understand? It's crazy for anybody to have anything negative to say when it came to that. Absolutely 100%. Bonkers.
I think 2%, 4%, whatever percentage.
Give me 0.1%. I'll be fine with it.
Definitely. So big you guys up each and every time. I think you're amazing. And that's not just because I want you to come on my show. I actually do. I buy Nala's baby. Like, even when it's not on offer, I buy it all the time. Yeah. The vanilla cloud is crazy. I love it anyway. So back to this. So you did your degree. What did you get?
So basically, I got a 2-1.
2-1.
I got a 2-1 on my psychology and criminology, and then my criminology, I got a pass on my master's.
Right.
And this story is very interesting because everyone's like, oh, she paid people to do her work. She didn't really go uni, but hence why I've met my best friend, Alex, who I went to uni with in class every day. But anyway, that's a different story. People are so bad, man, that people will question anything that you do. And for me, it's like, you guys don't know how hard it was for me because for my criminology masters, we had a senior exam and I was so nervous. Like when I mean I was so nervous about it that I still remember my exam questions.
No way.
I do. Critically analyze 5 strands of hate crime.
Oh, wow.
Explore the positive and negative, explore the positive and negative of nightlife economy.
Oh wow.
There was 3 questions. I answered 2 questions, but I went in depth so much that I passed the exam.
Okay.
I was literally so nervous when I walked into that exam. I had so many shots. I sat in that exam. I remember writing, and then exam's finished, and I answered 2 questions. I was like, shit, not gonna pass.
You must have think you're not gonna get through.
But
what uni did you go to?
London Met.
The Met.
London Met.
Okay.
I went London Met, and I ended up passing by 50%.
Oh wow.
I was like, wow.
Because you didn't even do the other one.
There was 3 questions. I only answered 2.
So that's not bad.
I was just
that's not bad at all.
That's not, for me.
Not doing the third question.
Yeah, I was
not
like,
bad.
if I did my third question, I probably would have got 70 or probably like 70 something, 75 probably, if I answered the third question.
75 would have taken you to like that would have
I
been.
probably got a merit or something like that.
Yeah, or distinction.
A distinction.
I think it's 70 something to get this distinction.
Because all my courseworks, I got like 68, 70s, 68s and 70s.
Oh, so you was on track. Yeah.
My work, you was on track. I had very good lecturers. If I didn't, like, for example, when it came to my senior exam, because I had some because I'm not academically the smartest person, do you understand, yeah? But when I put my mind into something, I'm able to do it. So when I had my exam, I went to see my lecturer. Because it was a senior exam, I kind of had a clue on what type of questions.
And they do a lot of past papers now, isn't it? And a lot of the questions are roughly around the same.
So I wrote my answers and I went to my lecturer, etc. And she told me what I needed to write on, basically to improve on, etc. Gave me some ideas, and then I just started studying. I started writing. I started writing my answers every day for 2 weeks. And what actually made me pass was that my reference was top tier.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what helped me pass. I had a lot of references when it came to my exams. Yeah, so yeah, I passed that, and then that was in 2017.
What made you feel like that's the field that you wanted to get into?
What, social science?
Yeah. Criminology.
Okay, I studied psychology and sociology, and then I didn't really like it. I thought like sociology and psychology was very similar. So I said, I wanted to work with young offenders like myself previously. So let me do criminology. Then when I did criminology, I got to explore that there were other things that I wanted to actually go into forensic science, if I'm honest. And then obviously when I finished my bachelor's, I went to do my master's. When I did that, I finished my master's around June, July. My brother passed away in September. So that's how I got into substance misuse, because of my brother.
Yeah, I know, like from watching some previous episodes, you said that he died by overdose.
Yeah. He was going through like severe depression.
How many siblings do you have?
I've got
5. Yeah.
But obviously my brother's passed.
Your brother's passed. So you got 4 left.
Yeah, I got my sister. 3 brothers. Yeah.
3 brothers.
3 brothers are not here, but my sister's here.
Okay. Yeah. They're back home.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So when your brother passed, how did that impact you?
Do you know what? It felt like a dream, because my brother was, when I got the phone call, my brother passed away, I was just thinking like, who's done this to my brother? Like, I'm gonna get them. Like, I was just going
someone
mad,
killed
like
him.
Literally, because my brother's like the most nicest, kindest person ever. R.I.P. Kangi.
R.I.P. to your
Yeah.
brother.
And
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I can talk about it now. I was actually on my way to London Met, and I got a phone call, and it was so crazy because my brother died on the day that my master's degree results came out that I passed. He died on a Wednesday, and that day I had the craziest headache ever. I took paracetamol. It wasn't going. It was just so strange. Like, it was just so strange that day. Then the next day, I was going to London Med, and I got a phone call. D, where are you? All right? Have you spoken to Kangi? And I was like, yeah, I spoke to him yesterday. I spoke to him like yesterday. And he was like, where are you? And I was just like, oh, I'm just going to like North quickly, da, 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 da. Not even thinking the guy's about to tell me my brother passed away. Then he was like, oh, you know Kang is dead. And I was like, what do you mean
Like
you know?
that?
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean you know Kang is dead? Kang is dead how? Like, my brother's not a problematic person. Like, my brothers, you wouldn't even think we're brothers. Like,
Brother and sister,
brothers and
yeah.
sisters, sorry, brothers and sisters. And I was like, what do you mean? And then like, I remember I literally, I don't know if you know Holloway, you know Holloway Road?
I know
If you take
Holloway.
if you take a right, the Argos is there on the left. There's a traffic light. If you take a
Yeah,
left, it's the
yeah.
uni. I literally lifted up my handbrake and got out the car and literally I started like touching people to make sure that this was not even a dream. Like it was crazy. And then I went to go and meet my best friend Alex. He lived in Tottenham those times, my friend from uni, my Italian best friend from uni. Then we drove to my mum's. And then it was just crazy. But the hardest bit was it was when we buried my brother. After we buried my brother, it was so difficult for me, extremely difficult, so difficult. Like I just started smoking. I started smoking bare weed. Like I was just smoking. It got to the point where I started losing my memory. I would be speaking to my friends. They'll be like, "Your acting's so weird." Like because to my friend, I masked everything. Everything was okay. Then I lost so much weight. And what pissed me off the most, oh, why have you lost so much weight? Why the fuck do you think I've lost so much weight? Like that, I felt like that was the most horrible question, not even, oh, are you okay? Like, you know? And for me, I was going to his cemetery every day. And then one time I went and then I literally felt like I couldn't breathe. And I said, you know what? I'm not coming back here no more. I'm not doing it no more, but I'm going to stop smoking. Then I stopped smoking. And then he had children. He had children as well that I was fighting to. It was a lot fighting to see. His son was autistic. It was a lot. And then I said to myself, you know, I've got to fix up. I really got to fix up. And then I graduated in my master's in December. We buried him. Died September. We buried Kangi. I would say it's at the beginning of November, if I'm right. We buried him. And yeah. So since then, since 2018, I haven't been able to go. I literally, the place I worked was literally minutes away from the cemetery he's buried at. And I find it hard. Even until now, it's 5 years. I've tried to drive there. I say that I'm going, but I just can't. I literally can't do it. It literally breaks my heart. Like, I'm always asking people, like, how do you guys go, etc. Like, I can't do it. I literally can't. I physically can't. Like, there's been so many occasions that I've driven to the cemetery, but I physically can't drive in the cemetery.
Death is so final.
Yeah, like him getting buried, it was just like, that was like, boom, he's actually dead.
Never seeing him again.
It wasn't like the news that he's passed. It wasn't seeing him. It wasn't, and the community that I come from is so fucked, Congolese people. Like when my brother passed away, they were like, yeah, she's behind it. That I went to go and do a drug deal, it went wrong.
Wow.
Bearing in mind, I've never ever been involved in drug dealing in my whole life.
Wow.
A very demonic, insensitive community, horrible community that I come from when it comes to death. They don't have respect for people that are grieving. They don't have respect for death. Like, it's crazy. Like, it was crazy. It was so hard. And I'm thinking, shout out to my Caribbean friends that were literally there for me. You'd think they're Africans that were literally there for me. Like, you would think that they were literally Africans. They was always checking up on me and stuff. That journey it made me a strong person. I feel like my brother's death gave me no option but to be strong and to continue carrying on. And I feel like that's why I apply in my everyday life. I just carry on. Yeah.
So before your brother passed away, did you know you wanted to get into substance abuse?
No, I didn't even know there was jobs like that. I didn't really know nothing about drugs. Didn't know much. Considering I come from Gascoigne, crack paradise they call it. yeah, like I didn't have a clue. And then God made way for me. I remember applying for the role, going. I was interviewed by I think 4 people. I was like, oh my God, like, wow. Then I got the job. And I didn't have no experience. It was more of the passion to get into that role because of what happened to my brother. And yeah.
You kind of shone a light
and
over
then I got
you.
into it. And then when I got into it, I got to find out what really goes on in the lives of substance misusers. And, you know, my first, I would say my first month, I had a service user that overdosed. And I had to be there when she was being injected with naloxone. Naloxone is an injection that we use when somebody's overdosing. It basically reverses.
Like to kind of balance things
No,
back.
it just basically you're not high anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So it basically it reduces the risks of you overdosing.
Right.
But you have to call the ambulance by a certain minutes. Yeah. So it was traumatizing because I remember when I went to go to my brother's case in the court, and they spoke about them injecting him with like naloxone. So I've now had to experience that, and I was like, oh my God, like, is this what like? I started praying a lot during them times, and I was like, God, is this what you're allowing me to like really experience? And I remember going home and I was thinking, do I want to come back? And then obviously because my colleagues knew that what happened to my brother, everybody like checked on me to make sure that I was okay, etc. And then and I just got into it. And then I started bonding. Then I started bonding with my complex service users. They didn't want to come in, and I just worked more harder for them because I had that attachment because of my brother. I felt like if there was an opportunity for my brother to get support, would he have got support? And why did he hide that he was using? Obviously, we come from a black community. Using substances is a taboo.
A taboo, yeah.
And he didn't have a safe place. Like I ask myself sometimes, why wasn't I a safe place? And then sometimes I get angry. I'm just like, why would you do this? Like, you know, I went through so many processes when it came to grieving. I was angry 1 minute, I was sad 1 minute, I was in denial 1 minute. It was just a lot. It was just a lot. And sometimes I still go through it. But what's so crazy, when he's coming up to his death period, I find myself very, like in a dark place. I find myself wearing dark clothes. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's Kangi's death anniversary.
Yeah.
And then,
You know, grief is, I don't want to say I like to hear what you're saying, but I feel like people need to hear it. Grief is not a singular episode.
No.
It is a cycle. There's a whole grief cycle, and you can go from 1 to 7 or 1 to 5,
And I
depending
feel like
on.
it gets harder. People say, no, it doesn't get easy. I tell everybody that. It does not get easier. It gets harder because you're actually realizing you're not going to see this person ever again. Like, they're not coming back.
Yeah, it is hard. And I think it's hard initially because there's a lot of the first Christmas, the first birthday, the first. That's
The children.
hard. But then the children, yeah.
And then he's got his son. His son is his photocopy. And it's so crazy because the way my nephew loves me, the way he loves me, just like my brother. My brother loved me deeply. Like, he loved me so much. Like, literally, he loved me a lot. Even though we bickered, etc. and stuff like that. He thought I was crazy. Like,
What sort of things do you do to manage with that grief? When you feel it creeping in and you start wearing the dark clothes and stuff like that, what sort of things do you do to kind of get yourself out of it?
do you know what? I know time's gonna pass. I allow myself to grieve. I don't try and run away from it. I don't feel like you should run away from what you're feeling. What you're feeling is normal.
Yes.
Is normal. I need to accept that feeling. Because if I don't accept that feeling now, I'm going to use something else to mask that feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use anything else to mask that feeling. So time just goes by, past, etc. I might speak about it with my friends. I might pray about it. I just look at it as if like, I'm here, I'm looking after his son. I have my nephew on a regular basis. I have a very good relationship with him. And sometimes I just look at it like, I know he's looking at me. I know he's very much proud of me.
Amen. I think he is proud of you
Yeah.
still. So in terms of your work now, you spoke about getting the job. You talked about having to deal with some quite tragic experiences that mirror what's happened to your brother.
Yeah.
What other things do you do in that role? Like if someone wanted to get into substance misuse,
Do you know what?
what do they need to
if
do?
anybody wanted to get into substance misuse, you actually don't need a degree.
Oh,
A lot of these jobs, you think that you need a degree. You actually don't need a degree. You need to have experience, and you can do volunteer work. I advise people, go and anything you want to go and do, go and ask them if they got volunteer opportunities. You do it for like 6 months, a year. You gain your experience. You apply for a permanent role.
and what is a day in the life in that role? What does that look like?
Okay, so for me, sometimes I had like 60, 70 caseloads. So I have to prioritize.
And caseloads are like people. Yeah.
So I have to now prioritize my high risk service users.
Right.
I have to make sure risk assessments are completed to cover my back and to cover my service users. Sometimes I have to do referral to MARC. So basically, MARC is like when you refer, for example, if I felt like an adult was at risk,
yes,
I would refer them to MARC.
Right.
So multi-agencies will come together.
MAPA.
Yeah. It's something like a MAPA's meeting, but for like domestic violence or somebody or an adult that's vulnerable is at risk of abuse. So, for example, if a service user came to me and I felt like they didn't have capacity and I felt like they were at risk of violence,
self-harm or anything like that.
etc., I will refer them to MARC. I would be involved in a team meeting. I'll be involved in the MARC meeting, etc. I'll present my case. Then we'll come out with a plan and then there'll be an outcome.
Right.
So I did that. I'll do child protection meetings where I would contribute if a child will be in a child in need or would go from child protection to child in need.
Right.
So I'll participate in that. So basically, a child
in need
and child protection.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say level 1 and level 2.
Right.
Do you understand?
So a child in need is higher than child protection?
No. Child protection
is higher than child in need?
Child protection, yeah.
Okay.
And basically my role would be to make sure that the parents, for example, the adult, is complying with their treatment plan.
Yeah.
And whenever I see that adult, I would obviously... Everything has to be there. Everything has to be recorded.
Yeah.
In this role, you have to literally record everything, because if you don't record everything, it will mess you up if anything goes wrong, because there's no evidence.
Yeah.
You have to literally be strong and accurate at recording things. So I would bring my service users case and I would speak and inform the agency, social services, usually schools, that they're complying or they're not complying. If they are taking medication, they're taking medication. If they're not complying, I always have to let them know. I also have to be in contact with social services, probation. It just depends on
the need.
On the needs. Every service user has different needs, and I have to basically work with the service user's needs.
And do you get joy out of it?
I do get joy out of it, but it's very challenging. It's very stressful.
How do you de-stress? Because that's like the things that you're telling me, they sound quite heavy.
And I have to do psychosocial. That's what I like, doing psychosocial intervention.
And what's that?
Psychosocial intervention is a bit like mentoring. It's a bit like therapy.
Okay.
You speak to your service users. I like to do free association. I like to use a free association. I like to allow my service users to speak without me interrupting them, allowing them to just say what they want to say without confusing them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you are speaking to these service users and they feel like they could be open with you, anything you say may make them feel like they have to withdraw themselves from telling you certain things. So I like to allow them to speak, and then we speak on what we can do like how we can improve whatever issues they're going through, whether it's housing, whether it's mental health. And in this role, what's very challenging for me is presenting my service users to the mental health team.
Right.
Mental health agencies don't want to deal with service users who are in substance misuse treatment.
Right.
Because their argument is the reason why they're experiencing mental health is because of the substances.
Right.
Where in fact, it's not always the case. It can be the case, but it's not always the case. So when it's not always the case, I now have to fight and get this person assessed and get this person seen. Yeah.
Because sometimes it's things like abuse and trauma that causes the mental health, and then they're trying to pacify the situation with the drugs.
Addiction. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So if someone was going to do this job, what are the things that you think they need to have as a person?
You've got to have empathy.
Empathy.
You've got to be understanding. You've got to have good communication skills. You've got to be able to think quickly, because sometimes you're going to be in situations where you need to think quickly. Like there was a situation where I had a woman come in and her husband was outside the service. And I kind of noticed that was a bit of some type of control. So I said, okay, I'm going to come back. I went to speak to my manager. I said, I'm going to do a mass check, social services, to see if this person is known to social services. And it's to come to light, this person is known to social services. It's come to light, the husband is
domestic abuse.
Yeah, controlling, etc. So I said, you're not going to be the translator. I'm going to get a professional translator. So I got a professional translator. And then from then, I was able to obtain certain information from this service user.
Because he was controlling the situation.
So I was able to get out of that situation. But I had to critically think quick. I had to be, you have to be able to observe.
Yeah.
You have to be able to analyze. So if I wasn't able to analyze certain people's behaviours and certain things, I wouldn't be able to take that woman away from that situation.
It's so important, you know. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
And they're not able to. The language barrier for...
He was taking all her money. He had control of
financial
everything.
abuse, yeah.
A lot of women are in circumstances and in situations because of financial abuse. And you could be looking at people saying, oh, this is still happening. Yeah, it still happens. It's still happening to some of your friends, and you don't know.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep your eyes open.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're maternity leave and you've got to get statutory pay or whatever, that's when the financial abuse might kick in.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting. Thank you so much. So you were talking about personal conversation. We're talking about a book.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to write like a mini book on how to overcome situations. So basically use my experience and then talk about overcoming it. And I also wanted to mention how important it is with people that we have contacts with our everyday life. Like for me, my hairdresser, Hawa, she's been doing my hair since I was 13.
You got to shout out your hairdresser.
I have to shout out my hairdresser.
She's doing stuff. That red one.
Oh, that wasn't.
And the ginger one.
That wasn't her. Who did the red one? The red one was who did? Oh my God, who did the? Hair by Nays did the red one.
The ginger one was doing things.
And then Irene, my little young babe, she did that for me. But prior to that, I've got my hairdresser Hawa. She's like my second mum. And every time I sat on her chair, this woman just spoke life into me. Like the reason why I've gone so far in life, she has definitely had a major impact on that. So for me, it's like, even if you're a barber, even if you're a hairdresser, whoever you are, and when you have regular contacts with people, it's also good to speak life into them. And of course, big up my hairdresser, Hair by Nays. She is such a beautiful soul. She's always speaking live to me. She's always telling me, why don't you do this, man? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this?
Yeah.
And it's important to have people like that in your life. And especially with us women, I'm always getting my hair done. And they're like my therapist. So yeah, big up my hairdresser, Hawa. I'm going to be talking about her in my book that I plan to do. Yeah. So yeah.
No, your hairdresser's doing stuff.
Thank you.
Big up my hairdresser too, yeah? Big up Shola Rose. award winning. They had to retire her because that's how good she is. Yeah, she maintains the length and the body of my hair. But your hairdresser is doing crazy stuff. I'm like, nah, I feel like I want a ginger or I need a little.
I've been doing the colour. Do you know what? It's so crazy because I did my own hair today.
You did well.
I did my own hair today. I tried. I had to. Big up Hair by Nay. She's always like, girl, it's so easy. Do this, do that. Just put the glue and let it melt, let it melt. But yeah.
No, it's melted. It looks good.
Shout out to my hairdressers. They're important people in my life. They have a very positive impact on my life and they're always encouraging me. And may all the other hairdressers continue to encourage their clients.
Yeah.
Continue to be an ear for their clients. And yeah, God bless you all.
Thank you. Gucci, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do guest to guest, where our previous guest asks our current guest a question.
So hi, I'm Terry Walker. My question to you is, what are you going to do different in 2025 that you didn't do in 2024?
Hi, I'm Miss Gucci and now I'm responding to questions. In 2025, what I'm not going to be doing is listening to people and allowing people to portray their insecurities onto me. And I feel like that's going to be the best thing I'm doing for myself.
Miss Dora. Dora, because I think we had Dora today.
Yeah.
Dora, thank you so much. One, for giving me your time today. And two, for being so honest in your conversation. I definitely think there's some gems there for some women to hear and young people as well. So thank you for coming on, Honestly Speaking. Do you have any questions for me?
Do I have any questions? No.
Not ones that you can ask here.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for tuning in to Honestly Speaking. It has been amazing with our special and amazing guest, Miss Gucci, a big one, not little one. And yeah, Dora. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Miss Gucci. What's my Instagram? Hold on, Miss Gucci UK, I think. Hold on. Yeah, you can find me on Miss Gucci Big D on Instagram.
Thank you. Anywhere else? No.
There's no point on TikTok because on my TikTok account, all I do is speak Lingala, Congolese. So yeah.
We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah,
so on TikTok, you do speak Congolese. So if you are Congolese,
you want to follow me, go look for me, Miss Gucci.
That is it. Thank you. Tune in to us every other Sunday throughout the year. It's been a pleasure. Stay blessed.
Thank you, guys.